Alright, so this is going to be pretty scuffed, Sam, but basically I wanted to show you how I was able to actually run a simulation with my alarm control VHDL file from within Quartus. So basically, if you want to run a simulation on a file, first step is you got to make sure that your file is the top level file of the project. I think by default he has the DE10 light base.vhdl file as the top level. So you want to change that to the file you want to test. So in order to do that, you just go to project, and then you can do add, remove files and project. And then we're not going to do anything over here. We're just going to go to general on the left. And then here you can select your top level entity. And so you should be seeing the DE10 file right here as of right now. If you go to the dots, you can browse your entities and select which one you want as top level. So you select it as top level, and once you got that, you've just changed the top level file, right? So you're going to want to go ahead and compile. You want to do a full compilation. Once you've fully compiled, you're ready to start doing your simulation. So what you want to do is you want to go to new file, and then if you scroll down underneath verification and debugging files, you can do a university program VWF file. We'll open up one of these and you get this. Now so if you go up here to edit, and then you can do set end time, and then I just did something like 10 nanoseconds for mine, and then I go back to edit, and then we change grid size, and for this I did 0.25 nanoseconds. I don't know how much the time actually matters here. I don't think it really does in a simple simulation like this, but it might. The grid size you want to make sure is a somewhat small of a size, and you'll see why in a little bit. But we've got the grid set up now. So now we're going to go ahead and find like our inputs and outputs that we want to add. So if you go to edit and we go to insert, we go insert node or bus. This dialog pops up. I go to node finder, and then I don't do anything besides click list, and it'll automatically find my nodes that I want. And the reason that these are the ones that pop up is because it's my top level file, the ports that were defined in there. So that's the reason why we changed our top level file to be the one we want, so we could get the nodes. So naturally you're going to want all of them. So you move them over there and you click OK, and then you hit OK again. Then it adds all of them to this list now. And then so you can go through and you can change the signals if you select the whole signal. If you come up here, then you have a list of options. Basically I just do forcing low or forcing high, right? So 1 is 0 and 1 is 1. But ideally you don't want to do the whole signal, so what you can do is you can just click and drag to select a specific piece of it, and that is defined by the grid. So that's why you want the grid to be somewhat small, so you can have like small little pulses if you want them. So once you set that, so I can say for my reset, I'll just do a quick reset of like 1 grid width. I'll set to 1, and that's like how I would set up my file. Now it's important that when you save it as the default name, waveform. Right now it's waveform 1, but the default name is waveform. I was getting errors before if its name wasn't waveform, so I kept it the default. So I'm going to exit out of here because I already have a file. So I'm going to open up my current waveform file that I already made, and notice once again the default name here is waveform. That's the only way I got it to work in a brief amount of time. So here I already had it set up. So in order to run this bad boy, I'm just going to check my settings here quick because I want to recreate this error for you. Now the first time I tried it, so you want to go simulation and run functional simulation. Do I want to change or save changes? Yes. So it starts running the simulation. I expected to get an error here, and I do. So this error is telling me that the -novopt option is deprecated. So I was like, well, that's dumb. So I decided to tinker, and I found that if I go to simulation settings, and right here in my functional simulation settings tab, there's actually a command here with vsim novopt. I'm going to get rid of that. So if I save that and I go to run functional simulation again, I hope I don't get an error. And if I don't get an error, I actually get the outputs set. So that's how you can simulate. I've only been spending like half an hour on this, so there's probably a lot of things you can figure out about it. But I am running low on time as of right now. But basically, I was able to test my file with this. Once again, I want to reiterate that I was getting an error when I tried running the simulation because I had a different file name than the default. Right now the default is waveform.vwf, so I suggest you just leave it like that, and you can just like delete it, overwrite it between testing files. But I figured this is better than just hopefully it works after combining them all. But that's about it.